Hello, welcome to Christy Iwuchukwu's Brilliance TV show, where we spotlight the defining moments and accomplishments of today's top business leaders, entrepreneurs, unique and most successful individuals, and that's where you come in. Because this show is for you. You want to be seen, you want your story to be heard, you want your message to be heard. So I want you to contact me if you would like to be a part of this TV show at info@chosenpathglobal.com. Once again, it's info@chosenpathglobal.com. And don't forget also to connect with us on Facebook at Chosen Path Global. Again, it's Chosen Path Global. But I am so excited for today's show. But guess what? We are going all the way to London. That's right. I have my guest. My guest star today is coming to us from all the way from London. But stay tuned and you're going to hear more of who she is and what she's all about. Listen, I also want to talk about the fact that on January 27th, I will be having Rock Your Brilliance Summit. And you want to be a part of it. Why? Because I will be pushing your information to so many people who are going to hear what you have to say. Share your message. So I want you to please send me that email and I will give you all the information regarding the summit on January 27th, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So who am I? My name is Christy Iwuchukwu, aka Lady Christy, CEO and founder of Chosen Path Global, helping women find their voice, speak up, speak out, and gain confidence. Listen, I'm coming to you from the Sunshine State of California, the beautiful city of Sacramento. And today I am honored, so honored to be joined by Pat Duckworth. And she's coming all the way from London to share her message of rock, hot women rock. But let me tell you a little bit of Pat. Pat Duckworth is a mentor, an author, an international speaker. After 30 years working in the public sector at a senior management level, Pat discovered her entrepreneurial mojo in her mid-50s and retrained as a therapist and a coach. Since then, she has published 4 books, including the award-winning Hot Women Cool Solutions. You can buy Pat's book, Hot Women Rock, How to Discover Your Middle Life Entrepreneurial Mojo on Amazon. Listen, if you are doing anything right now, and I want you to get your pen and paper and get your girlfriend, and if you are a man, I want you to sit in for your girlfriend, for your wife, for your husband, for your mama, your daughter, because she's about to bring and drop some wisdom, nuggets of wisdom, golden nuggets of wisdom. So please help me welcome my friend, Pat Duckworth. Pat, welcome.
Hi, Christy. It's just such a pleasure to be here with you. I wish I was with you because I think it's a lot warmer where you are.
Oh, actually, it is a lot warmer here. And that's why, I told you I visited London a couple of years ago and will still be visiting London because I have relatives in London. But I am not moving to London to stay. It is so cold in London. But it's a nice place to go and visit, but I will always come back to the United States, that's for sure. So thank you for joining us. And you've been traveling to a lot of places, impacting lives and sharing message of hot women rock. Now, Tell us a little bit about that.
So, Hot Women Rock came out of a journey actually because Last year, I decided I was invited to go to the Women Economic Forum in India, in New Delhi. And normally I speak about women and menopause. And I thought, it doesn't sound right for going to India, where there are so many entrepreneurs, so many talented people. So I thought, I want to write about becoming a midlife entrepreneur and the challenges and the opportunities. So I wrote that book specifically for going to speak in India last year, where I launched it, and then subsequently it became a bestseller, which was fantastic. And then I've traveled some more because I met you in Las Vegas. And it's funny you mentioned Golden Nuggets, because we met at the Golden Nugget.
Yeah, I was so pleased to have met you. You and I shared the stage, and we shared the stage at Las Vegas. You spoke and I spoke, and Tanya Hoffman, the host of the conference. I so much adore Tanya. So it was really a great conference to say, and I'm looking forward for next year's conference as well. But, you know, I've always said that behind every successful person, there's always a journey that got them there. But oftentimes we hear only the accolades and how they are on the mountain, but we never got to hear how they got to be there. So can you pull the curtain back and take us back to where it all began for you?
Yeah, so I left school and I didn't go to college. I didn't go to university. I went straight to work because I didn't come from a wealthy family, and I wanted to go and earn some money. And I trained to be what in the United Kingdom is called a chartered surveyor. It's somebody who values property. And I wasn't an entrepreneur at that stage, so I got a job in the public sector, and I was valuing property for tax purposes, so not the most popular job in the world. But, you know, I always knew I'd have safe income. And so I stayed in that job, and gradually, you know how it goes, you work your way up, you start doing technical work, and then you get to doing managerial work, and then you end up doing corporate work. And that was a story over 30 years that I gradually climbed my way up, and I reached exactly where I had thought I wanted to be. I became a director in a big London government department. My office overlooked the Houses of Parliament. I could hear Big Ben in the distance every quarter of an hour. You know, it was everything I thought I wanted. And then I was walking to work one morning, beautiful morning, walking through a London park. I could even see Buckingham Palace in the background. The Queen wasn't there, but I could see Buckingham Palace. And then I just realized that I was crying. I was so unhappy with where I'd got to that I was crying. And, you know, that's the wake-up call. Either you listen at that stage, or what I've found with talking to other women is that the universe wakes you up by smacking you around the head. You know, you get sick or you have an accident, you know, something makes you sit up and say, I can't carry on with this any longer. And that was the stage that I'd got to.
Wow. You know, you are absolutely right. It's amazing that your priorities, as you mature, your priorities in life change. And oftentimes what I have found is that for so many women, it really is the fear of listening to that inner voice that keeps us stagnated, that we don't move, that we don't listen to that voice, we don't listen to that nudge. Once something that used to make you happy, for example, the job you talked about, you enjoyed your job for 30 years, but at a point, it was time for you to go. The universe was saying, it's time for you to shift your mindset, shift your situation, shift to something bigger and something that will impact more life. And yes, when we work, we impact lives. Because I have a job too. We impact life. But then when you become an entrepreneur, you impact life in a different way, in a much larger circle. So take us back and tell us a little bit about how that journey has been for you to step away corporate to now moving into entrepreneurial journey without any experience of what to do.
Yeah, so it's a big step, and it can be a scary step, but once you realize that you're unhappy, if you don't do something about it, it's not going to get better. So I came home and I said to my husband, I've got to do something. I can't carry on like this. And he's incredibly supportive. And he said, no, you can't carry on like this. What are you going to do? And I said, well, I don't know. I've always been interested in neuro-linguistic programming, about, how the brain works and how you can help people. So I'm going to look at doing a course, and I'll keep working and then see what happens. So I found a course through a friend of mine, and it looked really good, and it was starting in September, and this was about April time. So I signed up for the course and thought, right, okay. And then the universe had been listening and watching, and it said, well done, you've listened and you've taken a step. And the next thing that happened was that at work, a scheme came out to take early retirement so that I would be able to leave and get on with my life. And so I ran home again to my husband and said, look, I can apply for this. And I applied to take early retirement, and by the time that I'd started the course, that application was in, and I had my fingers crossed, and then I knew that I'd got the early retirement, and by the third month, I was nearly out of the door. So things happened really quickly, and the universe had given me such a big nudge that, so I started the new year in 2010, and I had my course. I was part of the way through my course. I carried on with it, and as soon as I qualified in the July, I hung my shingle out and I started to help people. And that was the start of my entrepreneurial journey, where I started to see people one-to-one, but I didn't stop there. I then started to teach people in groups as well. And that's something that I've carried on doing.
Wow, that's really interesting. For you, I want to ask you another question, really, because based on my own journey and journey of other people that I've talked to, when you are stepping away from corporate and you're moving into entrepreneurial journey, there's a lot of frustration. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of unknowing. Is it going to work? And sometimes you don't even know what you want to do. And I know you'll work with a lot of women. So tell us, what has been your experience as the number one thing that women don't want to go out, step into their purpose, step into what they really want to do?
Oh, that's such a big question. I think I can't just limit it to one thing. I'm going to have to say two things.
Okay.
So the first thing is that you've built up an identity over all of those years doing the job that you do. You've built up a corporate identity and you've invested in it. You've invested your time and your training and everything that you've developed. So I developed this identity as a director in a government department. So if people said to me, what do you do? Oh, I'm a director. It felt pretty good. And I knew I'd spent all this time to get to that point. So at the moment you turn your back on it, that's like turning your back on an old friend, that's really difficult. And so I think for some women, there's that fear of letting go of that identity, and in a way, a grief that's associated with it as well. Even though you're moving on to something new, you feel sad for everything that you've invested in those last years. And particularly, if it takes you 30 years, like it took me, there's a lot to let go of. So that's the first thing I'd say. The second thing is that lack of confidence about stepping out on your own, because you've always had this kind of support system behind you. And so to step out on your own can feel pretty scary. And, you've got to get lots of skills, and you've got to build up a whole new support system. And so there's that moment. I tell you, the moment that I think most women find the scariest is the day they launch their website. Because you can talk about doing this stuff, and you can talk about what you're doing, and people go, wow, that's really good. And, or, you know, there are some people who go, really? Is that what you're doing? And all of that. But the moment that you put your website out there, you're saying, I'm serious about this, and I'm putting myself out there. And I've found a lot of women who spent months working on their website, not really because there's anything wrong with their website, they're just frightened to put it out there because this means it's serious and now I've got to do it. Does that make sense, Christy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You make a lot of sense because, as you know, I work with women in getting more confidence to be able to step out and do the things that they want to do. Because why? That is my journey. I remember a period of time. I mean, people look at me now, it may not seem like that's the case, but I remember a period of time I will be in a room and there will be a lot of people in the room, and yet I felt invisible. I felt invisible. Why? Because I just felt out of place. I felt like nobody gets me, nobody would understand me. I just felt different. And coupled with the fact that I had an accent, and language barrier happens to be one of my issues. It wasn't because I couldn't speak English. I could speak English all right, but the accent was different. And somewhere, somehow, I felt that meant I wasn't enough. But that wasn't the case. I realized later on when I took back me, when I took back me and made the decision, nobody cares. Nobody was actually looking at me. People just perhaps want to just be friends. But I had this head trash so deep in my brain, so ingrained in my brain, I thought it was all about me. And when I look at the women that I work with, I can relate to their issues as well. And you talk about the confidence to be able to step out and do the things that you want to do, because everybody has been assigned someone to help. But like you said, the things that keep us from stepping out, it could be the job. And for me, I know it wasn't really just the job. It was just I act different, I ate different, everything was different, but I really wasn't different. When I realized that those things that I thought made me different was really the things that people come to appreciate about who I am. When you come to embrace who you are, when you are comfortable, allowing people to see you for who you are, it's only then that you'll be comfortable yourself. And when you shine, when you allow your light to shine, people definitely, automatically will get to embrace you for who you are. So I absolutely agree with what you say. It's the confidence. And the confidence can come in so many forms. It can come from past negative experience you've had in life, where either in relationship you were told you won't amount to anything, or either maybe you're overweight and you're looking at yourself and say, who will want me because I'm this weight? And you concentrate so much about the negative part of who you are rather than just living life for who you are meant to be. So I totally agree with that. So I want to ask you a question. You know, this is something that I struggle with myself. Stepping away from the corporate world into this entrepreneurial journey. I realize that your corporate friends are not going to go where you're going. And that was a challenge for me, because I would think, oh, I made friends over the years. Therefore, if I have an event, I will invite them and everybody will show up. But that was not the case at all. And so for some of us, the fear, not only the fear of the unknown, but the fear of not knowing where to begin, step by step. How were you able to overcome that, and how do you guide the women that you work with on how to overcome that?
Yeah, so you are totally right. The people that you're with at one stage of your life are not the people you will be with in the next stage. And you just have to accept that. You may stay in contact with them, and sometimes you might socialize with them, go out for a drink or a meal with them, but these aren't the people who are going to support you in your new business. And so you have to be prepared that you're going to make a whole new network of friends. And you know, that's exciting. That's a new journey. But it can be a little bit daunting. It's another one of those confidence things. So I was fortunate when I started out that I had a friend who is an entrepreneur, somebody who's a dear friend of mine. And when she knew I was starting out, she took me to my first networking meeting. She said, I know you're not ready yet, you haven't got your business yet, but come to this networking meeting. You're going to meet a whole load of local business owners, and you can just start getting to know them. And you know, this was a few months before I would finish training, but I went along and I met about 30 local business people who I didn't know because that wasn't the world I'd normally mixed in. And I heard them stand up and talk about their business for a minute. And it was the first time that I got to stand up and say something about the fact that I was training to be a hypnotherapist. And it just gave me my first taste of a whole different world. And this is where you start to build up your contacts. You have to get out there and physically network. There's so much that you can do on social networking, but that's not like going and meeting people face to face and shaking their hands or hugging them if they're lucky or whatever it is that you're going to do. You know, you have to see people face to face. So if I hadn't come to Las Vegas and met you, we wouldn't be talking now. And in Las Vegas, I met so many new people. I even met somebody from the UK that I'd never met before, who's now a great friend. And you said I was traveling, you know, last week I was in Denmark, where I've never been before, but I went there because of a networking friend. And through her, I've made other friends. And now I'll probably go back to Denmark again. And I just had a lovely time there. If I hadn't had that courage, that confidence to step out, none of that would have happened. So if you don't have that confidence at the moment, just start small. Find somebody who you know who does network, who goes out and goes to breakfast meetings or whatever, and get them to take you along so that you can start to listen to other business owners and start to practice talking about your business. You have to begin somewhere.
All right, listen, audience. We are still talking to Pat Duckworth, coming all the way from London to share her nuggets of wisdom with us today. So please share the message, share this to as so many people as possible, because this is a message of hope, a message for you to get on with your life just the way you want it, and not have to wait for anyone else. Absolutely. There is nothing that says you can live your life. It may not be the life that other people expect you to live, but at least it is your life and you are walking in your chosen path. And I want to remind you also to please email me if you want to be a speaker on my summit on January 27th. Again, January 27th. That will be, excuse me, January 27th, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you get to have time to share your message, share whatever you want to share, and pitch whatever you want to pitch. So I want you to contact me to be a speaker. The spot is filling up, so you don't want to miss that opportunity. You can email me at info@chosenpathglobal.com. Again, it's info@chosenpathglobal.com. And I also want you to connect with us on social media at Chosen Path Global. Again, it's Chosen Path Global on Facebook. Now we go over to Pat to continue our conversation. Stay tuned. Pat, I want to ask you a question. You know, you brought up a lot of issues that seems to be what I have to encounter myself before I get to where I am, and that is when you are starting to do something, when you are starting something new, it's going to be very frustrating. You're going to be overwhelmed. But the best thing that you can do, the best thing that I did was associating myself with a community of people that you know that will deposit into you, that they've been to where you are going and they are positive. You have the people in your front row that will be cheering you on. You know, one of the people that I interviewed was Dr. Stephanie Barnes last month. And she actually talked about this. Having people in your team, different type of people in your team. Having a cheerleader, but among those people, you have to have people that she calls the champions. People that will talk about how good you are. People that will talk about you in your absence, not only in front of you, but they will talk about how good you are, promote you behind your back. Now, no, for me, I am nowhere where I want to be, but I am definitely not where I used to be. And that is as a result of networking with people. And I hope to do more networking in the future. Talk about the importance of having positive people around you when you are stepping into entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, this is just so essential. And I would do that quote, who you spend time with is who you become. If you spend time with people who are negative, who are unsupportive, who are playing small when you want to play big, then you will get dragged down to where they are. And you can go along to a number of networking meetings. Most of them, even if they're a membership group, allow you to go twice before you have to join anything. And you can test out whether these are the sort of people who are going to support you. Not every network works. You have to try some different ones out. I mean, I've been along to some networking groups where there just hasn't been a very good attitude. And then you have to let that go and find the ones that do support you. So, I mean, you could network from breakfast in the morning all the way through to supper in the evening and every stage in between. So there's plenty of choice out there. But you need to find those people who go, wow, is that what you're doing? Great, how are you going to do that? Not the ones who say, really? How's that going to work for you? Don't you think you're a bit old for that? Or how are you going to learn that? You know, those people are not going to help you. And you have to be prepared to let those kind of people go. And one of the other great things apart from networking is setting up a mastermind group. So surrounding yourself with a group of people who are on a similar journey to you, who've had different experiences, so they don't have to be doing the same thing as you. They can be doing completely different things, but they've got that positive attitude. They want to grow. They want to support. And if you set up a network group, or you can find one to join, a mastermind group, it could be 4 people, 6 people, 8 people, but you meet with them regularly, and they're people that you can trust, so you can share some information with them about your business. You're not worrying about what they're going to do with your information. This is very much on a trust basis, so you can feel open about saying the days when, do you know, this isn't going so well for me, because you need to be able to talk about your challenges and get some help with them. And I've found that my mastermind group are my cheerleaders. They're the ones who, if I'm having a bit of a bad day, they're the ones who are going to say, no, come on, you're doing amazingly. Let's just keep it going. What can we do to help you? So as well as the networking, think about a mastermind group.
Absolutely. You know, I can't say enough about having positive people in your life. And I know I have been so so lucky. I really have been so lucky that I have people that pulled me and have me on their shoulder and mentors me and coaches me. And I am forever grateful. The people that, I would not have met if I was sitting behind my computer. So absolutely getting out, networking with people is necessary if you're going to do this. And not just networking, because you can go to networking and stay there the entire day and never make any connection. When you go to a networking, try to connect with people. Find out about them. Now, I'll say something about networking. Some people go to networking just to make sales. And I don't think that while it's good to make sales, I don't think that networking is all about making sales. I think it's about connecting with people, finding out how you can help them. What is it that they need? It's not just about sale. And oftentimes you go to some of these networking and everybody is just handing you a business card and just wanting you to buy from them. And it's not all about that. Because I believe that you have to build a relationship with people before the sale. The sale is really about solving their problem. Maybe you don't have something to solve their problem, but maybe they know somebody else who can buy your product. So when you are networking, network with an intention of building a relationship also, and not just about sale.
Absolutely.
I want to find out something that we rarely talk about. Let's talk women to women here. It's something that we really don't talk about. But I know, being a woman, that it's something that sometimes, I don't want to say it's ingrained in women, and that is competition. That some women fear they don't have to help another woman because of competition. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, you can come up against that. And in fact, I spoke about going to India, and there was a woman in India who said that a lot of women have PhDs. And we all thought, what's she talking about? She says, pull her down. That some women, that's their speciality. They pull other women down. Now, I'm not saying that men don't do that with other men, because I've seen it in action. But these days, business is much more about collaboration. Because if you're talking about competition, what you're saying is there isn't enough to go round, and therefore I need to get some, and that means that you can't have some. And that is that whole mindset of lack and not enough. And it comes from a place of fear. If you're talking about collaboration, then you're in that mindset of abundance, where there's enough to go around for everybody. Look how abundant the world is that we live in. And so if I collaborate with somebody, then I can go further with it. I can benefit from what they know. They can benefit from what I know. And there's much more going on in the way of collaboration. Now, that could be something like when I wrote Hot Women Rock, I collaborated with 21 other women because they gave me their stories to put in that book, so that I could illustrate for other women all the challenges that women go through, because mine was just one story. But now there's 22 stories that tell you all the different situations, all the challenges that women go through. Or you can collaborate to run an event. You might have some other women who come along with you, and perhaps one's a better event organizer than you are, or has a bigger distribution list than you do, who can help you to get more people there. You can collaborate on projects, so you're both putting your particular talents in. So if you go into that competition mindset, it's going to be tough. You're going to be doing it on your own. And when you're first starting out, that's going to be really difficult. If you can get into that collaboration mindset, then you're welcoming the abundance of the universe. And that is a much better place to be in, particularly when you're starting out in business.
I totally agree. I believe that collaboration, as Dr. George C. Fraser said, when we cooperate, 1 and 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. But when we collaborate, 1 and 1 equals 11. And it's all about collaboration, having other people to collaborate with you. When you collaborate, you don't have to necessarily eat all the pies. Everybody get the pie, but then you can have as many pies as possible. And now I think I see more of people women trying to collaborate when they do things. But I really would love to see more of that, and let's remove the spirit, because it's a bad spirit. Let's remove the spirit of competition. I so much appreciate collaboration, because you can get a lot done when you collaborate rather than trying to do it all by yourself, because you have that competitive spirit with another woman. So definitely, and hopefully we can have more and more of it, collaboration. So I want to go back to you and ask you, how liberating has this journey of entrepreneurship been for you, knowing that it wasn't that easy when you left the corporate world for 30 years and have to retrain yourself as a therapist? And when I think about so many women out there, some of them are retired, some by choice, and some of them are not by choice. Perhaps they are laid off from their job, and from there they're retired. And some of them been married and stayed home 20, 30, 40 years. And now the divorce comes in, and all of a sudden, they don't have the income. And some of them are so scared to get out and retrain themselves at that age, whether it's 40 or in their 50s. And they're probably thinking, I'm too old. What do I do now? Or I haven't worked all my life. And in your own case, I don't have a college degree. So what? What do I do now? What mindset? How can you help this individual with a positive mindset? What is your nugget of wisdom to share with these women?
Oh, well, I watched your lovely interview with Lawana Parker, and of course at 70, she was making this huge step into working for herself, and talked about that fear. And I think the thing that takes the fear away is when you really understand what lights you up inside. You know, what is it? What's your purpose in life? What is it that if that was the thing that you'd done would just make you so proud of the life you've led? Now, not everybody can, you know, be the guy who flies to the moon, or the woman who runs the Huffington Post. You know, we're not all destined to do those things, but we are destined to help somebody or to create something, and just get into that creative mindset. What is it that I could do that would really be purposeful? And it might be, I mean, there's so many opportunities now for women because of the internet, of setting up businesses and being able to sell in a way that they've never been able to before. Or there's lots of network marketing businesses, and I think they're a great way for women to get trained, because they give a lot of coaching and training to do some of those sales jobs. And even if you think, oh, sales isn't really for me, we'll get some coaching to find out what really is for you. So I found my purpose in terms of inspiring women to lead their best lives after 50. You know, that there's this feeling of, or this general thing about women being finished once they get to 50, becoming invisible. And I just never accepted that. I've never been invisible. And so for me, to inspire other women, to say to them, well, what is it? What was that dream that you had? What was it when you were perhaps at school or leaving school that you really wanted to do, but you had to go and earn the money and build the house and have the children and do all of that. And then suddenly now you're at a stage where you could actually do something for yourself, and what would really light you up? Now, if you've got a really strong purpose, then that is going to see you through the ups and the downs of becoming an entrepreneur. There are days when I wake up and I'd like to stay in bed a little bit longer, but I think, I've got to get out there and inspire people. You know, this is my job. I'm not inspiring people by laying in bed. I've got to get out there and do it. And, you know, once you find that really strong purpose, it just motivates you to keep going. And when the obstacles come along, you think, how am I getting over that obstacle? Because I've got this purpose and I'm meant to do it. And I've got to keep carrying on. So that's what I help a lot of my women do, is firstly find what it is they really wanted to do, their purpose, and to dig into their values, because it's your values that motivate you. Your values get you out of bed in the morning. And I do a lot of work around that with my clients.
Thank you so much. Audience, we are out of time, and I know that I'm going to definitely bring Pat back again because she has so much to talk about to help us in our entrepreneurial journey, especially I call them matured women. That's what we are. So, but anyway, I just want to remind everyone, so please email me at info@chosenpathglobal.com, info@chosenpathglobal.com if you want to be a part of Rock Your Brilliance Summit happening January 27, 2018. January 27, 2018. And beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I would love to talk to you to be a part of that, that endeavor. So again, it's January 27, 2018, beginning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And also, hey, before I forget, also, I am involved in this amazing opportunity, cryptocurrency. And if you want to hear more about it, digital currency, making money, investment, please call me. Again, not only do you call me, you can just go ahead and email me. Email will be the fastest way to get in touch with me. So again, thank you for joining us today, Pat. I appreciate you. And I want to find out from you, do you have anything else that you want to share, something that you're working on right now and you want to share with our audience before we go?
So I have a website called hotwomencoolsolutions.com, and there's lots of free giveaways on it. Now, this is one of the things that happens when you're an entrepreneur. The site was hacked, and I'm in the process of having it rebuilt. So keep an eye on that website, because there's lots of free resources on it that would help you as an entrepreneur and as a woman at midlife. So keep your eye out for hotwomencoolsolutions.com. Once I get it sorted out, you'll have lots of free resources on there.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Once again, thank you, Pat, and thanks everybody for joining us. And don't forget to watch this show or be a guest in the show. Until next time, Pat, I just want to say thank you, appreciate you, and hopefully I can bring you back again to help us. Any final wisdom before we go?
Oh, final wisdom. If you want to do it, get out there and do it. I mean, listen to what Christy's guests are saying to you. You can do it. If you want to do it, you can do it.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And thank you again. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye now.
Bye, Christy.